Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include interview with Marie Dusseault of St. John Ambulance. The Department of Health held a public meeting on Monday night. Next week is Fire Prevention Week. Further discouraging news concerning the sea freeze plant. Bay developers are landscaping in the area of Fisherman's Wharf, and more, so please stay tuned. I had an interview with a representative from St. John Ambulance regarding programs that they offer. I'm speaking with Marie Dusseault. She's the program coordinator with St. John Ambulance for Western Newfoundland and Labrador. I understand that you have a new office recently set up in the Corner Brook area?
Yes, we've just been at 30 Main Street for about a week now, and our phone number in there is 639-1900.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about St. John Ambulance?
Yes, St. John Ambulance is a volunteer nonprofit organization, and we're involved in improving the health and the safety of Canadians. And we do that through our first aid and CPR courses, which you probably know about because there is a first aid and CPR instructor here in Burgeo. And we also have a number of health care courses that we also teach. For example, we have a program called Put the Child First. And this is a child abuse awareness seminar, which we'll be holding tomorrow in Burgeo. We also have courses that deal with children. We have an excellent babysitting course that I'm really hopeful that will be taught here in Burgeo to the high school students. And we have a course for the seniors, which is very well liked by seniors. I'm also hoping that that course will go ahead in Burgeo too.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about child abuse?
Well, first of all, I guess we want to know what child abuse is. And child abuse is something that you do not do for a child. For example, you neglect to feed the child properly, or you do not clothe the child properly. That's called neglect. It's a type of child abuse. Then we have physical abuse, where you actually harm the child physically. You push the child over the stairs, you slap him across the face, you break his arm. Then you have verbal assault, where you actually assault the child verbally. Then you have sexual abuse, which certainly seems to get a lot of the press today. So there are many kinds of abuse.
Who are the victims of child sexual abuse?
Any child in Newfoundland can be a victim. The victims come from all walks of life, not from just one social class. Any child in Newfoundland is a potential victim of child abuse.
Who sexually abuses children?
It isn't the stranger, and this is the sad thing about our society. We're telling our children to be aware of strangers, but a high percentage of abusers are family members. For example, they would be the child's father, grandfather, uncle, maybe a brother-in-law, first cousin, brother, or somebody that the child actually knows, or maybe it's a friend of the family. Very few child abusers are strangers to the child.
Okay, what are the effects of sexual abuse?
The effects of sexual abuse can last for as long as the child lives. They certainly leave deep emotional scars. They interfere to some degree with how that person lives for the rest of his life. Naturally, it depends on who did the abusing, how long it was going on, exactly what kind of abuse it was, and if they threatened the child. So it depends on a number of things to what the effect is going to be on the child.
What would be your advice to a child if he or she feels that they have been sexually abused?
If the child is in the school system, my advice would be to go and talk to a guidance counselor in the school system. Another option would be to try and think about an adult in your life who you trust and who you can tell it to. And to the children, I say that maybe the first person that you tell will not believe you, but someone will believe you. This is not something children lie about. It's very, very difficult for a child to find somebody to trust, to tell him that they have been abused. So if a child tries to tell you, please listen and believe in the child.
Okay, you said that you'll be doing an awareness seminar on child abuse. Are any of the other courses that you talked about being offered here in Burgeo?
Yes, we hope to offer the babysitting course, and in that regard, I'm talking to some local women in the town of Burgeo who might be interested in teaching the babysitting course. That's a beautiful course. It does teach some first aid. For example, it teaches the young girl or boy what to do in case a baby is choking, for example. It teaches them what to do if there's a fire in the home. And the other course, which is really dear to my heart, is a course for the seniors. That, to me, is one of the courses that I get personal satisfaction out of. This is a course geared to healthy seniors, and it's to keep them as active and as healthy as long as we possibly can. And that course has gone very, very well all across Newfoundland. I myself have given that everywhere, right across from Labrador, right up through northern Newfoundland, and it's been very, very well received. So we're hoping to get one of these courses off the ground in Burgeo in the fall.
Okay, Ms. Dusseault, thank you for coming by and speaking with us.
It's my pleasure, and I'm very happy to be in Burgeo, my first trip. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. Thank you.
Thank you. A meeting was held by the Department of Health on Monday night to discuss the results of a recent health survey conducted in our town.
July, Deborah and myself and Arlene, the public health nurse from Randy, and we were trying to look at how the Department of Health could best serve the needs of Burgeo and Randy. And Deborah had some ideas and I had some ideas. And we talked about it and what we thought. We talked about Dr. Rossmeyer and another supervisor in Warner. And what we thought we'd like to do is pass around a survey to see what the people of Burgeo and Randy think are the needs for their community. So we took 55 questionnaires, mailed one questionnaire to the principal, the clergy, social services, people who are working with people on a daily basis and might have an idea what concerns they would have, were mailed questionnaires. And then there was 10 more, or 20 more between Burgeo and Randy that were distributed randomly to anybody in the public. So I don't know, Deborah, maybe if you happen to walk into Deborah's office that day, you might find a survey. So it was just to anybody, 10 random, to get a feel for how the community feels their needs to be served. And what you have in front of you is the results of 32 of those surveys. Out of the 55 that we sent out, 32 were returned. And we don't know who sent back what, because they are anonymous surveys. The first question that we asked is on the front page, and actually I'm going to read it. The following concerns that may affect many communities. Please indicate how important you feel a concern is for the Burgeo Randy area by placing the appropriate number in the column. And we had, as you can see on the next page, a list of what we thought were concerns. And the number of people that rated them important or very important. And as you can see, for instance, in the first one, 26 out of 30 people consider family violence a concern for Burgeo Randy area. Of those 26 people, 13 thinks there are services provided. Now, for us to use this as a tool to get an idea how we can best meet the needs for this area, if you look down, for example, teenage drinking, 28 out of 30 people consider that a major concern for Burgeo and Randy. And out of that 28 people, only 2 thought there were any services provided. So that may be one area that public health can provide a service, work to educate through the schools and through the community about teenage drinking. Another one, if you look down, is on AIDS. 18 out of 30 thought that that was an important concern. And of those 18, only 4 thought there were services provided. And so that might be another area. And as you look down, maybe if I give you a few minutes to look down through it, you can see how some of the people responded and what their concerns were. On the teaching, more and better police control, daycare, care for the elderly, and the list goes on. And additional services that you, people of Virgil and Randia, have requested or would like to see come into your community. A nursing home, a hospital, a full-time dentist, senior housing, and so on down the end of that list as well. So those are the results of the surveys. These results are going to be used by Deborah and the Department of Health to try and plan programs for the Virgil area. Now, if you people didn't have an opportunity to see the questionnaire or answer questionnaire, perhaps you'd like to ask some questions now or offer some comments.
Just for your information, with the new building going up, of course, that's in my domain, the office of that. But there is an area set aside in that for mental health services and some of the issues that could be dealt with.
We can't hear you down here, sir.
I'm not usually told that I can't be heard. That with the new building coming on stream, there is an area set aside for public health and mental health services and so on in that, and that we'll be working together with the division from the hospital point of view and the public health. We've looked at some things about providing mental health services, and Dr. Wassermeyer and myself actually had some preliminary discussions about maybe having some cross-training between people in our institution at Western Psychiatry and the people down here so that you can have some mental health support. A lot of the issues that come up on that are really issues that come from problems of isolation, problems of lack of employment, all the socioeconomic things which have changed dramatically here in Virgil with the fish plant going down and the lack of fish and everything else. And it's certainly a major concern. We'll have a facility which will be conducive to doing some of that, and we hope to try and get the groups together. I think it really requires us to look at what the problems are and work in a joint effort. You as a community know the issues that you see as being important, and it's much better for you to identify them. What has been done by the department is to try and give a tool to measure these. They're going to come back with some ideas, but you need to have input. Is this making sense? Is it going where you would see it to go?
Next week has been set aside as Fire Prevention Week. We took our cameras to the fire station to find out what plans they have made for October 4th to the 10th, Fire Prevention Week.
Chief Matthews, I understand that the week of October 4th to 10th has been declared Fire Safety Week.
Fire Prevention Week, Dave? Yes, that's right. This year, it always falls on the week of October the 10th. So this year it starts on the 4th. So it's, as I said, a week of the 4th to the 10th.
Okay, last year's theme was Proved Appliances and Smoke Alarms Save Lives. What's this year's theme?
The theme for this year's Fire Prevention Week is Test Your Detector. It's sound advice.
Okay, what type of events do you have planned for Fire Prevention Week this year?
Well, as in past years, we'll start off the week with a church parade. The fire hall will be open every night during Fire Prevention Week from 7 to 9 on Monday to Friday nights. We have lots of fire prevention literature here. It's all free, so we hope we can see some people drop by. We'll be showing our films, our regular fire prevention, fire awareness films on BBS. That'll be from Monday to Friday again, starting at 7:30 p.m. They'll be on every night. There's some for adults and there'll be some for kids. We'll be doing our regular drills, fire drills at the schools. We'll have some firefighters visit the schools as we've done in the past years. They visit, I believe, from grades kindergarten to grade 3s, and possibly 4s or 5s, depending on what time there is that they have. I believe this week there's going to be an holiday, so there's going to cut down the time. And the fellows visiting the schools, they'll explain what the fire department's all about and how we work, and answer any questions that the kids have regarding firefighting, fire safety, etc. As well, I would imagine the school kids will visit the station. We have usually all the kids from, let's say, kindergarten to probably 4 or 5 visit the station each year, see the trucks and try some of the equipment, breathing apparatus, this sort of thing. Just try on fireman's gear and whatnot. As well, we'd certainly like to invite any organised groups to drop by. If the leaders want to bring them by, we'd only be too happy to have them any night of the week. It's just a matter of give us a call in advance if there's an organised group going to be at the station. We'll be doing our fire inspections of all the public buildings in town, as we normally do each year. And as well, we'll inspect any residences that we're requested to do inspections on. As well, during the week, Burnitz, I'll be having a card game at the Fire Hall on Monday night, starting at 8:30 p.m. I believe it is. And we'll be ending off the week with a public dance on Saturday night. Music by Clayton's Disco. So we hope to have a good turnout for that, and we look forward to an interesting, busy week.
Okay, you mentioned that you'll be having open house here at the Fire Hall. For anyone who hasn't come to an open house in the previous years, what type of things do you do at your open house?
Well, if anybody'd like to drop in, ask us any questions, they might have relating to firefighting, they can see the trucks, see the equipment, see how things work, and as I said, we have lots of fire prevention literature on hand that they can take. It's all free, so we'd only be too happy to see, people drop by.
Okay, in the past couple of years, we've been invited to come along and film your various events during Fire Prevention Week. Will we be able to do the same again this year?
Hopefully, Dave. We certainly appreciate if you did cover it for us. We certainly only be too happy to have you.
Okay, Lynn, thanks. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, only again, we certainly like to see a nice turnout of people come visit the station. It's a very important thing. Fire prevention especially is, very, very important. If we like to stop them before they start, sort of thing. So we like to see some, it'd be more encouraging if we'd have more people drop by and see what it's all about.
Okay, Chief Matthews, thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you, Dave.
On Thursday night, the Burgeo volunteer firefighters were busy cleaning up the firefighting equipment as well as the bays of the fire hall in preparation for next week's Fire Prevention Week. Aidan Brown of Newfoundland Telephone removed the phone system from the Sea Freeze plant here in Burgeo on Wednesday. The complete phone system that was installed in the Sea Freeze plant here in Burgeo was removed. All phones and other telephone equipment was removed from the building on Wednesday. It was all packed up and carried off. This room once housed the main controls for the phone system at the plant, But as you can see, all of that is being packed up as well. Once Mr. Brown had everything packed in boxes and carried out onto the bridge, he proceeded to pack it aboard the Newfoundland telephone van and carried it off the premises of the sea freeze plant. In addition to the phone system and the water system that was shut off earlier, Newfoundland Hydro cut the power to the sea freeze plant on Friday. The power to the plant had to be cut in 2 separate locations. This first section of power that was cut was for the fire extinguisher system in the plant. With the power cut, the plant now has no water, no phone systems, and no electricity. As you can see, there were some lights left on Thursday night. Not as many as usual, but there was some light at the plant. However, on Friday night, everything was in total darkness. We took our cameras to the bait depot area this past week to see how the landscaping is progressing in that area. As you can see, not much remains of the former residence of Miss Gertie Parsons. Other than a few scraps of wood, you'd never know that about a month ago her house was standing there. This land is being leveled off to house 65-foot longliners. In addition to the house being removed, a rock in that area was also drilled and blasted out of it. An old storehouse had to be removed as well. Work is now underway on the road that leads to the new healthcare center off of Inspiration Road. This road has to be widened and upgraded. A section of Parsons Place is currently being widened out. The road known as Piddle Place has been widened out back to the site of the healthcare facility. The road leading to the healthcare facility off of Reach Road has also been widened as far as the senior center. Also, a manhole has been installed in that area. As you can see, the road appears as though it's going to go quite close to the senior center. These two roads are to be paved, hopefully, sometime this fall. Last Friday, a boil order was immediately put into effect on the town's water system. We visited the council office this past week to find out more about why this boil order was put into effect. The boil order was put into effect last Friday due to a high chloroform count in the town's water system. However, the results of 2 samples taken this past week showed that the chloroform count was gone back down, which means that the town's water system is once again okay for human consumption. Community events. The Lions TV Bingo in aid of the Community Emergency Relief Fund was won by Michael Mead. Congratulations, Michael. The ski club will be having a TV bingo on Wednesday. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and are available from any ski club member. Please support your local ski club by playing TV bingo. It has been brought to the attention of the RCMP that some individuals in Burgeo have, at certain times, been taxiing people around town. In order to run a taxi business, numerous strict guidelines must first be met. Anyone who provides a taxi service and does not meet these guidelines runs the risk of prosecution and heavy fines. Police are requesting that this practice cease forthwith. If continued, those responsible will face possible court action. The RCMP have received complaints from concerned citizens regarding vehicle and pedestrian traffic congestion at the crossroads by the post office during dinner hour. Students are requested to depart school and proceed out of the area as quickly as possible by using the crosswalks and sidewalks so as to try and alleviate this problem. Your cooperation in this matter will be greatly appreciated. Dear parent, it is recommended that students born in the year of 1978 who have previously received their primary immunizations or baby needles are due for their booster this year. The booster immunizes your child against tetanus, diphtheria, and polio disease. The vaccine is offered in one needle this year. Consent forms will be given to the students to be signed by the parent and then returned to the school. The grade 9 booster will be given on Monday, October 5th, 1992. If you have any questions regarding this notice, please contact the public health nurse at 886-3360. The Lions and Lioness will be having a seniors party to celebrate World Lions Day on Thursday, October 8th. A hot roast beef supper will be served at 6:30 at the community center. Free transportation will be provided by calling 886-2850. Supper will be followed by a card game and a dance. An invitation is extended to all seniors, widows and widowers. Out-of-town guests are also welcome. Well, that's it for tonight's broadcast. On behalf of BBS and the BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper, wishing you a great week. Good night.